we're gonna go ahead and start our work session. I'm gonna call us to order. We have opening prayer, by Pastor D.T.O. Wilson of our Early Rose Baptist Church. And then we'll have pledge by Council President Pro Tem Chris Brown. If y'all please stand for a moment.
Let us pray. Our God and our Father, we come first to say thank you. Thank you for all that you've done, all that you're doing, and all that we are expecting you to do. But as we come as members of this community, seeking your wisdom and your guidance, pray, God, that you would continue to watch over this mayor of this city as well as this council as they come together to make decisions on behalf of the citizens of this city. I pray that you will continue to give them guidance, give them wisdom. All decisions that is made for the betterment of the citizens of this city. And we promise, God, when it's all said and done, we'll continue to give you the praise, the honor, and the glory. It is in Jesus' name that I can pray and give thanks. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank y'all so much for that. We really appreciate it. At this time, we will have, as you all know, work sessions are pretty laid back. Our new business discussion, we're gonna start with Glenn Miller, who's gonna give us updates on Friday. Move to the front, There you go.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Finance. Just want to give y'all a brief update on our capital projects, current, ongoing, and some that we're about to close out. First of all, we'd like to recognize the two ladies in water services. The mayor found some information on two grants, ADECA Energy efficient grants, and we applied for both, and we were granted both grants. We're in the process of the paperwork getting started on both of these. One of them would be retrofitting VFDs in place of soft starts at the Braz Labs pump station at Sugar Creek. The other one would be the air conditioning and all in one of our facilities, updating it. It's kind of outdated. It would save us some money. Moving on to Adams, some of the upgrades, we have actually got the small clarifier. This is where we polish off the water from our settling basins. It removes the clear water off the top. The other water goes to our dry bed, leftovers. This is our new chlorine dots, the outside machine. And right here, just to show y'all a brief description of some of the projects that we got going on. This is actually a chemical feed line at Adams. This is a hypochlorite. And that's an 1.5-inch pipe. This small hole, that's all we have feeding that. So it's all grown up over the years. You know, hypochlorite is basically made up of salts. So we're going through that facility and updating all the chemical feed systems, getting everything up to spec. Rapid mix repair. So we got down to one rapid mix. We had one sent off, we were getting a gearbox repair. But we discovered that the structure that held all this in place had rotted out. So we had to completely rebuild this whole rapid mix area and put a total new structure in. So we got shipping services in and got this taken care of. This is just showing some of the repair work. They had to go in and cut out all the high beams and replace everything. I know y'all are aware of the two upgrades we had at Adams. We had an electrical upgrade and a structural repair. In addition, we had the catwalk to the top up here. Really can't see it. This catwalk never existed. And on that side of the wall, it's probably over 20 feet high. So there was no access to any of the backflow valves or any of that. And when I took over in my position, they already had the valves on the pallet, but they didn't have access to do it. So during this upgrade, we added this to the facility that would give us access with a monorail beam up top that will lift this stuff up. It's pretty heavy. Some more pictures of the catwalk. This is the area where all the concrete was busted up and we had to do the structural repairs, which turned out great, by the way. We're in the process of both of these projects are in the closeout phases. Just some additional information, you know, we did the wrapping these repairs, console, we had it scheduled to do a replacement. Well, we actually went in and updated some of the systems, so we wouldn't have to spend that money right now. We got to up and go where all the consoles are working now, the screens work, they can operate them in automatic, you know, some features that haven't worked in years. Of course, the catwalk and electrical raw water motor replacement. We replaced one 500 horse. We just finished up replacing the Benshaw Drive last week. We've been waiting on that for several months. New powder feed for raw water, electrical building. As of right now, you know, we fed potassium permanganate. We're switching over to a sodium permanganate system. It's supposed to help with some of this taste and allergies, some things that we're trying. New drive replacement, like I was talking, that's the Benshaw 500 horse drive. Chemical feed lines, that's part of the project where I'm showing you pictures where they have actually been closed up on us. This is Sugar Creek. This is the clarifier upgrade. This is actually clarifier 2 and 3. Well, actually 2 and 4, they're renumbered. This work went well. We're actually in the closeout phases of this project too. So now we have a total of 3 new clarifiers and one that it works great. It may need some structural work later, but as of right now, it's in good shape. These are just some of the pictures showing the new system in place that it's being installed. It's a big undertaking. I got with Joe, we kind of partnered on a fiber project at Sugar Creek to update the SCADA, some of the internal controls. That's on like a closed system. So, you know, the public can have access. So Joe was able to come in there with his contractor and we ran new fiber to all the new different facilities within Sugar Creek. In addition to the new buildings, turned out great. Joe has that stuff up and working now. We've got some upgrades to do to some of the consoles. We got to update some PLCs and stuff. RasWaz, we were able to get in there and get the actuators repaired, repair some of the valves. I think we got one left to go. That's some automatic features that we hadn't had since I worked there. That's been 19 years. New conduit to existing buildings, and we've also already ran the fiber, so they have internet for these facilities. Didn't have it before. This is a Dodge Station rehabilitation project that we've done. So they went in and removed all the old piping, pump bases, everything was replaced with stainless steel. So, you know, it will be there for years to come. We won't have to worry about it rotting away. And this is some of the stuff that we had to go through. So we had to set a pump up to bypass this pump station. And some days it's 1.5 million to 2 million gallons a day of sewage that goes through this facility. So this is the Cody Creek project that we had ongoing where we replaced those bad sections that we contracted out. And I think we're waiting on some cleanup, some final cleanup and some restoration from the contractor. And we'll be able to close this project out also. This is the Highway 63 utility relocate that we got involved with the state to relocate our utilities. This just shows you what they had to go through to make this happen. Just a brief rundown of what the sewer department has done this fiscal year. It It's 399 feet of surface repairs, 21 manhole repairs, 76 manholes raised for paving projects for public works, 653 feet of main replaced, and 48,179 feet of pipe that has been cleaned and videoed. Currently, right now, we have 11 SSOs. We cleared, in-house, we cleared and grubbed about a mile long, 50-foot wide easement for the Willow Point project. We've done that in-house. This is a water department. This is gonna be the CDBG downtown water project, which I think for what they had to work with went phenomenal. I mean, there was a lot of unknowns that they didn't, I mean, nobody can see under that. It's probably been there 80, 100 years. So they did an excellent job. That project is in the closeout stages. We had a little bit of overage. We don't know that total number yet, but from what they ran into and what they had replaced, it turned out great. This is part of our AMI smart meter change out that we've been doing around town. These are our new meters with the new lids and with the reader on top. So, you know, I'm pretty sure y'all seen the guys out in the public doing this. And this is our water line extension. So when we done the utility relocate for 63, we added in a crossing up toward 280 where we could get water down that south side of 280. We didn't have it. The intentions, as what me and David have talked about, is trying to get ourselves to Dean Road in the future. So this is the board that we've got done from where the casing was installed down to Karen Chanel. She gives us to Karen Chanel. This is water distribution ongoing project, which is about to close out in the CDBG project. As of date, we've got 757 AMI meters changed out and 236 water leaks repaired this year so far. Now we can move on to, I wanted to briefly discuss, I know y'all heard rumor about taking over Hackneyville Water. We're in the process with Larkin. He's working with the board members to get all the paperwork, get the type of agreement for us to take that system over. And I do think it's a great benefit for the city. We have roughly around 480 customers total. I think David, I've talked with David a number of times. He feels comfortable that he can handle this, taking over Hackneyville. They already have upgraded to AMR, which is a drive-by meter system. So basically, you don't have to get out and read it. It transfers the data to the vehicle as it drives by. They also had grants where they replaced chlorinators in the system, built-in generators, and they had another contract to have all of their creek crossings and all their crossings dug back, evaluated, and whatever needed to be fixed, they would then fix it. So I think that'll be big for the city. And finally, I'd just like to talk about the rate increase. You know, we discussed that in the past, came up with several scenarios. I met with the mayor and we looked at some options, and we're not gonna do a rate increase to the citizens. The scenario that I'm pushing that we passed, that I've chosen as mayor, is we do an increase on the commercial side. And of course, that will affect the one industrial customer that we do have. It's still classified in the same scale as a commercial customer. So there will not be a rate increase for the resident of Villa City. And this will be the rate schedule, which will change. The first rate will go into effect October 1st, and then the next one will be January 1st. And then that will get us on schedule.
Any questions or comments y'all have, William?
Definitely, the two plants look way better. Adams and clarifiers at Sugar Creek, that looks really, really good versus where it was 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, if y'all get a chance to tour these facilities, please, I ask you to do it. just take a tour, look what these guys have been doing. The painting, you know, they're going in fixing these pipes, any scaling that's on the pipes, they're removing the scaling, they're treating the rust, they're recoating them to protect them. I mean, these guys have bought into the preventive maintenance side, and that's one thing that was a driver for us when I took over, was preventive maintenance is key to protecting our infrastructure.
Any other questions or comments? I do ask that you all send this to our 2 council members that are missing. So if you all will forward to them, so they'll have it, so that when we're ready to vote, they'll know what we're talking about. That's one thing I have. Thank y'all, Lynn, so much. I think y'all do an awesome job. Thank y'all for that. I think that, we are heading in the right direction. Is there any other business to come before the council?
One thing.
Yes.
Where we at on Stonewall Wall?
Just a matter of us bringing it back for a vote. I'm gonna bring it tonight, but we can't, with just 3 of us. Hopefully our next meeting.
So you have an agreement?
Well, we have an agreement, the one that we originally sent, that's the one we're gonna vote on.
I mean, is it, if you've been back to them since, about 2 months ago, whenever you were talking to them,
I told them that that was the agreement we were gonna vote on.
any communication since then?
They just asked which agreement that we were gonna vote on. I just told them that's the one we're gonna vote on. That's the one the council wants to vote on, we're just gonna vote on that one.
Well, the last communication I saw was they asked you which agreement you were talking about. Did you ever clarify that?
I did.
I asked you too, and I didn't get clarification.
Well, the first agreement that I sent that agreement back to everyone in that group, and it's the same one. There's some things that Larkin has to change on there, like the name of the company or something has to change.
Larkin says he hasn't had any communication. I haven't had any communication.
Well, the communication that we sent, that everybody got, it has it on there. Amanda commented on it about the name being different than what we had in that first, agreement that we had. That would have to change. So changing those things and then voting on the agreement that we first sent to them. We did not change it to what they wanted. They wanted us to give them credit for a bunch of other stuff, and they really wanted to go back to the very first agreement, what they really wanted, but we're not doing that.
Well, all the communication that I've seen, nothing has happened in at least the last 6 weeks. No, there's been no communication, right?
You're correct.
Okay. There's this thing that just keeps getting dropped. I mean, you've got to talk to them every day to get this done. So at this point, I talked to Larkin, and at this point, I'm taking this negotiation back. Y'all have had it for a year. Nothing has happened. We haven't moved forward. We don't have an agreement. We need that money in the general fund. The general fund is going to have a deficit in 26. So we need to get something done. So I'm taking this negotiation back over. Y'all will have the decision on the final agreement, but I'm going to start moving it day to day and get this done. I just want to let y'all know that.
You have your ability to do whatever you want to do with it. We will vote on it. The agreement I had is the one that we were gonna vote on at our next meeting. We couldn't vote on it tonight because we did not have a quorum.
The only reason it came to the council, because the first time we negotiated with them, it come to a grinding halt.
It wasn't a grinding halt. It was the tenant was not satisfied with the agreement, and he thought he'd get that deal from y'all. So.
We have a deal that we think, is the deal that protects our city and also gives him an opportunity to have a say-so in getting a credit for the amount of money he has paid for that building. That is the bill, that is the agreement that we were gonna vote on. I can send it back to you again if you need it, but it's in all of that. Everybody, I've sent it to everybody at one time, over and over again.
Larkin hasn't gotten any kind of communication in 6 weeks, neither have I. So at this point, like I said, I'm going to take the negotiation back over, and I'm going to contact the tenant, and we're going to work on an agreement and see what we can come up with.
Okay.
And we'll bring it to y'all for approval.
We'll see. Any other comments?
Yeah, I'd like to bring up, the council to readdress the organizational chart, maybe to rescind that. I spoke with Councilman Tapley about it as well. When it first brought before us, back when Mr. Jim was the mayor, we were kind of new and learning at the time. And before, prior to that organizational chart, pretty much everybody answered to the mayor. Department heads answer to the mayor. So you spend your whole career to be a department head to work your way up the ladder, and then you, after that organizational chart. And then we passed another one whenever,
I can't remember.
when you come into office. And so it just, there's, in my opinion, some department heads don't need to be answering to other department heads. I feel like if the mayor should, the mayor is the main person in charge. Therefore, the mayor should communicate directly with all his department heads. The only special circumstance that I could think of would be the whole water deal. Because it is easier to have one person orchestrating that. But, you know, me personally, I don't think that we need to have department heads answering to department heads. They need to answer to the mayor directly.
What specific you talking about? I don't understand.
Well, the library, they answer to the city clerk. The airport answers in Parks and Rec. The building inspector, which should be a standalone department on its own, answers to community development. Therefore, it takes away all the authority that that department needs. That was a problem not long after we done it with Jim. And the only reason I didn't vote no the second round was because at the time, a very extremely good friend of mine was the building inspector. So I did not want anybody to think that I'm voting no to help out a friend. Is the only reason I went along with it. I was not necessarily a fan of it at that time. But and like I said, I've talked with Councilman Tapley about this, and he is in agreement that the mayor should, all department heads should answer to the mayor. It's the mayor should not redelegate or reorganize people where he don't have to deal, or she, whoever the mayor may be, have to deal with these issues and it falling through someone else. Because all before Jim did that organization chart, everybody answered the mayor. Every department head answered to the mayor prior to Mr. Neighbors bringing it before us. Like I said, at the time, we were young, we were fresh in this, we didn't have a clue.
That was one reason I changed it when I came in, because his organizational chart was not, it was Russell Corporation. It was a Russell Corporation in, organizational chart, and we changed it. And we changed it for the better, and I don't think I've had any complaints from any of the department heads about the current way we've got.
Nobody complains because they're scared of getting in trouble or scared of something happening to them. It's the only reason they don't complain.
What,
And, but-
how they gonna get in trouble?
Mr. Mayor, the organizational chart, certain things did not change from the way Mr. Jim had it.
And they didn't need to.
Once again, I would like to bring this before the council to, in my opinion, rescind it, because these departments work, I mean, I need to know that I spent X amount of years working here for the city, and you finally make it to what would be the pinnacle of your position, working for a local government or government in general, and then then I'm still under somebody. So I worked my career to get to here, yet I'm still here, and I'm never gonna get here. It's just, it's a whole, it makes a department head not feel like they're a department head, they're just a supervisor in that.
But again, I think that the organization chart is a responsibility of the mayor, because I handle day-to-day operations, and that's what the organizational chart is.
But it's also a check and balance to bring before us, so that we can say that this seems like it's the right thing to do.
We have to approve it and,
So therefore, if it was not necessary, it would not be, if it was not necessary, it would not be brought before council.
What are you complaining?
It goes back to the whole,
Explain, give me a specific, give me something.
Building department alone. I can say it now, since Eddie Patterson's not the building inspector anymore, he was one of my extremely close friends. You got the ability of that person to do their job properly.
Why? I mean,
Because they have to answer to somebody else that's not there, that's not the head person. That's the one of the main ones, but it still goes to other departments.
Which departments?
They go to the library. They have to go through somebody that don't really whether whoever the clerk may be, and this is nothing on you, Steve. So I want to make sure that you understand, this is nothing on you, because this was prior to your position. But they're answering to somebody else. The only special occasion I can think of would be the water. And I really don't know how to negotiate, and I'm gonna call water clean and dirty.
Water services.
Water services. That would be the only special one I can think of, strictly just because of the way it all really works together really well now. But even those department heads should still, I want to make sure that somebody has the opportunity to not have to worry about stepping past this person to get to the mayor.
So,
Because you have to follow the chain of command.
so you brought HR in on this?
No, I'm bringing this for the council because I'm talking about the organization chart.
Yeah, don't you think that HR should have a say-so in that?
This is a work session. This is bringing up things to talk about. This is how it happens. This is how it's supposed to be. This is in front of the public so that everything is out in the open. This is something that two council people have talked about that feels like this is a move to make. And so therefore, this is how the process works. This is a work session. Let's bring it up to see what the council feels about this. This is an address to the council.
Right. And it is in our scope of practice to look at the organizational chart. If council members feel like that's something that needs to happen, we will look at it and go back into it and figure out where we need to go from here as it relates to that organizational chart. I think that we probably need to send it out to everyone so everybody sees and knows what it is. And that way you can understand, I think, what Councilman Brown is saying. Any other questions or comments? Any other business to come before the council? At this time, I need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? All right, we'll be waiting for 5:30, y'all.
The slideshow is online.
We built it.
Look at the city's calendar for today's meeting. It's on there as PDF. So it's on there. Oh, okay. Yep.
What you're running, like what you get the computer on slide.
Yeah. I keep Yeah, I got in this dream. It wasn't getting my mouse.